Hello there everyone, welcome to another video on the channel and welcome to our race review of round 2 of the GTWS Manufacturers Championship. We're at Michelin Road Atlanta Raceway and we are in the Group 4 machinery. Showing you the grid here, and you'll be surprised to see that we've actually reasonably qualified for this one. Bit of a rarity for me in these events, but we are up in P4 in the Jaguar. As I said, very rare for me to qualify quite so strongly in these events. Now, the sort of premise for this one is that you had the option of doing the no stop or you had the option of doing the one stop. If you did the no stop, it was pretty extreme fuel saving required, with fuel being at ×7. Tyre was at ×1, so it was no issue whatsoever, but the pit loss was quite long if you did the one stopper. However, the fuel saving you had to do was so extreme, you lost around about 1.5 to 2 seconds per lap. So with a 16 lap race, around about a 25 to 30 second pit stop, depending on how much fuel you had to take on, it actually worked out fairly close between the two strategies. Now, for the first race, we actually tried to do the no stopper. However, to view that one, you will have to be a channel member. I've put that up there just as a little bit of members only content. Let's just say though, we had a few dramas in that one, and so for this second attempt we decided to go for the one stopper. If you could save a little bit of fuel over the course of the race, that would always be handy. It means your fuel stop would be a little bit shorter. No need to change the tyres in this one, with the tyre wear only being at ×1 on the hard tyres. So get away nice and cleanly in P4. We've got a Nissan GTR in front of us, a Mercedes up in P2 and a Subaru up in P1. Now, as ever, with a Group 4 race, it was the four-wheel drive cars that appeared to be the strongest. However, the Jaguar was not too bad at all. The Jaguar has very good rear traction, which means you can kind of power out the corners in a very similar manner to the Group 4 cars. So come down to the chicane, end of lap 1 here. We appear to have a little bit more pace than the GTR in front. Had a little bit of a look into the chicane, so a little bit of a lap later, we decided, you know what, let's actually make this move. Let's get a little bit of clean air down the inside into the chicane nicely on the brakes. The GTR nice and compliant for the overtake as well, and that was us up into P3, albeit now 2.3 seconds behind the top two, who have managed to escape over the course of the first 2 laps. So moving on here to lap 6, it was all going swimmingly well at this moment. We didn't quite have the pace of the top 2, that gap had opened up to 4.1 seconds. We did have the close attention of a Mercedes of Storm just behind us. They seemed to be quite happy to sit behind our car. However, we made a mistake just coming out the second part of the double right hand hairpin, and Storm took the opportunity to go up the inside at that point. We just decided then to do a couple of short shifts, let them into that P3 position, and you know what, I thought this could work out quite nicely, because as I said, if you could save a little bit of fuel over the course of the race, then it would benefit you when it came to that pit stop. So the plan was to try and just take advantage of that slipstream, save a little bit of fuel, and Storm did seem a little bit faster, having sat behind me for a few laps. But you know what they say about plans, the best laid plans never survive first contact with the enemy, and Storm happens to go a little bit wide. I think he kept his foot in as he rejoined the track. That then speared his car into mine, put me into the pit wall. Somehow we managed to keep the car going the same direction. Sam comes up on the outside of us, tries to take a little bit of an opportunistic move. I think they kind of came across the front of our car. We make a secondary contact here. I think this one was probably on me. I think we then pretty much did the same as what Sam had done in the first instance and just cut across the front of their car where we weren't quite clear. Gives the opportunity for the Sylvia to overtake both of us. We've got damage on several parts of the car, but somehow with the loss of just about 6 seconds, which is not ideal of course, we have managed to keep the car pointing in the same direction. So disaster, but not a complete and utter total disaster. However, still a little bit more contact to go on. The concertina effect there of all the cars closing up meant that we'd had a little bit more bumping and grinding with some of the cars around us. That resulted in damage to the aero on the front and the rear, which meant coming down this straight we were down on top speed, and that was going to give the opportunity for a Corvette that's just about to appear on the left hand side to go down the inside into the chicane. And taking a wee look behind there was a whole lot of cars in this group, and I had already made a decision at this point that I wanted away from this. We had done enough laps into the race that we could come in and make that fuel stop and hopefully get a little bit of clean air. You had to be very careful on the pit entry at Road Atlanta. Very easy to pick up a 3-second penalty, and we managed to just avoid the solid yellow line there, I must say. So yeah, pretty long pit stop here. You had to kind of take on around about 3 to 4, maybe 5 seconds worth of fuel. 7.9 seconds stationary. Remember, not changing the tyres here, so that's all just for the fuel. And as we emerge from the pit lane, we were going to be all the way down in last place. However, as I said, the plan was to get a little bit of clear track. You know, you think of all those cars together as we pitted, they are, well, in most cases they were going to significantly hold each other up. So if we could get a couple of clean laps in, most cars pitting around about lap 9 or 10, we should be able to make up a few positions, and hopefully the second half of the race be a little bit less chaotic. So Sam, who we were involved with an incident into turn 2, just emerged from the pits there. I think they must have to take on a little bit less fuel than us, and then the next lap the Porsche emerges just in front of us. However, they have cut the pit lane line and picked up a 3-second penalty, so that was going to dispatch of them. And then the lap later, and this was a bit of a recurring theme, is every time we seemed to come by the pit lane, a car was just emerging in front of us. We've got a AMG there of the Spanish driver, Jabo, I think that is. However, they were to come a little bit of a cropper. They had started to pull away a little bit from us, a little bit more pace, now in P7, but they were going to have a little bit of a moment coming into the tricky first sector and pick up a 1-second penalty. Pretty harsh one that, because you certainly don't gain that much time. And then I think they get dirty tyres and decided to cut across the grass there. A little bit of rally crossing, maybe preparing for the second round of the Nations Championship. And then the further dirty tyres were to run wide on the fast left-hander, and that was going to be a 1.5-second penalty, and that was going to be ideal for me to make up a position and obviously get a little bit clear of that car as well. As I said, Jabo actually appeared to have a little bit more pace, so the fact that we're now right with them, they've got a 1.5-second penalty, that was enough to open up the gap very nicely and kind of make us safe from them for the rest of the race. And jumping forward to lap 16, that was pretty much the end of the action. We did start to get fairly close to Sam, maybe having a few little fuel issues maybe. I did think that their pit stop was a little bit short. Maybe they were planning on just, you know, maybe had the same idea as me, to be honest with you. Maybe shorten their pit stop and then get away from the traffic and then just do a little bit of fuel saving towards the end of the race. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's worked out absolutely to plan if that was the case. But given what happened, we were quite happy to come across the line in P6. But what may have been, certainly P4 was on, maybe P3, had we not had the incident with the Mercedes driver of Storm. Now, coming into the post-race chat, both Sam and Storm immediately apologised to me, and yeah, that was absolutely no problem at all. Quite happy to, you know, accept their apology, and you know, these things happen. Storm actually came on and sent a PSN message as well, obviously feeling quite bad about what had happened. So yeah, I replied to that and told them, you know, don't worry about it, it's just racing, these things happen, we've all been there, we've gone off the track, we keep our foot on because we're just desperate not to lose that much time. And as I said, you know, we lost about 6 seconds, but it could have been a whole lot worse. So let's just take a look at that moment again. So Storm's going to go a little bit wide. It was very easy to do that if you weren't kind of really paying attention. He's just going to come on there, and as the car grips up on one side, spears his car to the right hand side into our car, puts us in the wall. We managed to kind of keep it pointing in the right direction coming up here. Sam kind of goes to take the racing line there, thinking he's maybe cleared our car, hadn't quite cleared it, and then we kind of do the same sort of thing here, like turn across the front of Sam's car there, so further contact. But thankfully we all remain pointing mostly in the right direction, albeit with a little bit of damage. Sam is also a friend of the channel, comes into our live stream chats as well. Raced Sam a lot over the past year on GT7 and the dailies, so very fair driver, good driver. So I know there was certainly nothing malicious. I don't think there was anything malicious in the whole thing, to be perfectly honest with you. It was just, as I said, a racing incident. But hopefully you've been fairly entertained by that. We seem to be certainly seeing a lot of drama in the GTWS races, albeit we had the luck in round 1 and maybe not so much luck in round 2, but we still can't complain with a P6. And yeah, going quite well with the Jaguar. Not entirely sure how good the Group 3 is going to be around a topless. But yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching. If you're still at this part of the video and listen to me gabbing on, then you are the true star of the audience. And I really much do appreciate it. But yeah, Thank you very much for watching, and I shall catch you on the next one. Goodbye now.